Dave Decay Show. I got a really good one for you tonight, ghoulies and ghoulettes. I'm continuing my entire month of Godzilla films, and tonight I'm going to be reviewing Godzilla vs. Mothra. Also known as Godzilla vs. The Thing, which is the American title.
For 100,000 years, it was buried in the snow and ice.
Hang on, that's the wrong thing. Well, I'm assuming it is because they do call Mothra the Thing in the movie, but it's still Mothra, and they do call the moth Mothra in the film, so why do they call it the Thing? I have no idea. Now, this movie came out in 1964, and is actually the fourth Godzilla film. Now, while I wasn't too crazy about the second film, and the third film, I believe, is Godzilla vs. Kong, this film I really liked. Really loved this film. Mostly because it's weird, and let's be honest here, I like weird. Now, unlike the first two films, this one is actually in color, and the story here is there was a big hurricane, or a tsunami, or whatever it was. It doesn't matter, and it upturned an egg out in the water. A giant egg. Yes, you heard me right. An egg. Now, there's a really rich businessman who decided he wants to buy the egg. So he claims the egg as his own. And the egg isn't the only thing that gets washed up. Godzilla also gets washed up from the storm. And he makes an amazing first appearance in this film. It's so cool. Now, if a gigantic egg showing up in the middle of the ocean is not weird enough, we get the introduction of these two small twins. They look like they just came out of the jars from Bride of Frankenstein. First, when you see these twins, you have to ask yourself, what am I looking at? Why are these two little twin women all of a sudden in this movie? It makes very little sense in the beginning of the film. And they like to sing. And the songs are actually pretty good. So you got these little short singing twins, and you got a gigantic egg, and of course there's Godzilla. But you also have Mothra. Basically what Mothra is a big moth. And I know that doesn't sound too exciting, right? But what they do with Mothra in the film is really cool. The gigantic puppet they use for Mothra, and all the effects and the flying effects they use for the big moth is just exceptional. It's really well done. And Godzilla in this film looks spectacular. He is so nice looking in this film. He is once again big and he's imposing, and the sculpt of his suit looks awesome. And you can tell from the claws on his fingers and his feet that they put so much effort into making Godzilla look great once again in this film. I actually think he looks better in this movie than he did in the original film. And the character of Mothra is also sort of a sympathetic character, which is kind of surprising for a big monster movie like this. Now, in this film, Godzilla is still the bad guy. As in later movies, he ends up becoming sort of the good guy. But in here, he is still absolutely the bad guy, and Mothra is basically hired to take him out. Now, the acting here is really good. The dubbing on the American version is actually not bad. It's okay, but it's still not as bad as the second film was. It's still okay, though. Now, if you haven't seen this film, I don't want to give too many plot points away, because that's sort of the fun of discovering the weirdness of this film. But once the battle begins between Mothra and Godzilla, it is awesome. It's a great battle. And then, after that battle, we do have a second battle between Godzilla and something else, which, again, I'm not going to give away. But the second thing also is so well done, and it's just really cool. And I would like to talk about it, but I don't want to give away that many spoilers for those who have not seen this movie. And yeah, the movie is not as serious as the first film. But you know what? This is a gigantic monster versus another gigantic monster. And when it's done this well and told this well, and the effects are as good as they are in this movie, it just becomes a lot of fun. Now, I wouldn't say it's as good as the first film, but it comes really close to the first movie. I wish somebody would be able to capture the fun of the gigantic monsters fighting in this film in a modern day movie. I'd love to see that again. So if you're still on the fence about, well, I like Godzilla, but where do I start? Always start at the beginning, obviously. But I would skip the second film completely. Now, the third film, I have not seen that many times, so I can't comment on it right now. But this film, absolutely, if you just want to have a lot of fun and enjoy yourself and see some really great effects and actually a pretty good, solid story, and, of course, weird, you will like this movie a lot. So in all, I would have to give Godzilla vs. Mothra, not the thing, Godzilla vs. Mothra, a 4 out of 5. A very enjoyable but weird film, and of course, that's always a plus in my book. So I got one more Godzilla film for you ghoulies and ghoulettes this month, and I don't know about this one exactly. it looks even weirder than this one, so hopefully it's pretty fun. So until next time, ghoulies and ghoulettes, as always, stay spooky.